Pit Stop with the Deersford Lincoln Auto Amigos. I'm Tony. This is Fernando. And we're joined by Mr. Doug Backens today, County Supervisor, Dodge County Supervisor,
For District 7.
Former Fremont firefighter. Thanks for coming on, Doug.
Well, thanks for having me.
Before we start, just want to mention the Cart & Co. downtown Fremont across from Krasny's on Main Street. And Erica is our official drink sponsor. She always has something great. We got to try this out before we get started.
We got a little something different today. We have dark chocolate raspberry. Last week's was delicious. I expect this to be just as well.
That's good. Doug, you allowed to have that?
I think so.
The thing I like about Erica's drinks, you can taste the coffee.
You know, she did not disappoint. It just was delicious.
2 thumbs up, Erica. Good job. So I want to start out. Doug, just give us a little bit about your background. I know you're the county supervisor now for District 7 for Dodge County. And then you were a Fremont firefighter for...
about 29 years full-time. Prior to that, I was born and raised here. Been here all my life. Married, got 3 kids, 3 grandkids. My daughter has and her husband. After graduation, I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I hung around here and worked at Hormel's for about 5 years, and worked at Bigger Tone Ag Products for about 3 years. But during that time, I had a few buddies that got on the volunteer fire department at Fremont. They had volunteers back then, and
old Dan Grubb.
Oh yeah,
Tim Adams.
Oh yeah, those guys. Yeah. The class of '83. Remember '83?
Doug and I were classmates in high school.
Oh, I bet Doug can tell some stories.
I bet he's not going to tell any stuff.
Not today. We're going to leave that part out. But so I got on the volunteers, and about 5 years. I think it was like '88. Some of them, Dan and Tim, they went down to Fremont Rural or Inglewood. It's kind of a name change on that fire department there, but it was all volunteer. And so you got to do everything, drive and pump and haul water and go in the interior techs and so forth. So I guess that just kind of grew on me over time, and decided to start testing for the paid department, and eventually finally got hired on. There's back in the early '90s, actually, they a lot of them were pushing the education, and a lot of those guys, some of the old North Benders, were getting hired ahead of me and stuff. So
Todd Burnt.
Yeah.
Todd's a fire chief now, right?
Todd's fire chief, yeah.
Yeah.
Pat's retired too, and he's also on the county board now too. So, but yeah, back in just kind of.
So did they send you to school for that? Did you?
I went on my own. I mean, there were some schools you could go, as a volunteer and so forth. But then there was an 18-month program at Southeast Community College in Lincoln. You could get your associate's degree or whatever. So I was actually working Bigger Tone and going down there like at nights and going to Metro and taking my elective classes out here. And also in between that, actually, I was working out here back in the Get Ready area.
Oh yeah, Deersford.
Yeah, washing cars and cleaning up.
I knew there was something other than being classmates that I liked about you. Though.
Yeah. So I had a little time out here in between too. I mean, all my busy schedule was going on back then, but then eventually I finally got hired, and like I said, 29 years later, I was fortunate enough and retired actually about 6 years ago or whatever. So.
And do you have any memorable calls, things that really stand out to you and that was a scary one, or that was exciting?
Oh, there's a lot of different ones. One was actually when the airplane, went down right here on Broad Street. I don't know if you remember that or not, or were around, but we were sitting there eating dinner one evening, and they said an airplane landed on Broad Street in front of Charlie Deers or whatever, and it's like, how does this happen or whatever? But
how long was that?
Say again?
How long ago was that?
Oh, that was early on, probably late '90s, maybe. Mm-hmm. Don't quote me for sure.
Some people travel a long ways to come buy a car here.
Yeah. But, there's a lot of, we're no bigger than the fire department is, and, or, Dodge County, and all the Dodge County, fire departments and volunteers, they all seem to get their share or see a lot of stuff around here over the years. So, some things you don't want to remember, obviously, or whatever. But there was one time, we had a young man in the middle of the night. He was stuck in a clothes chute. Fernando, you probably don't even know what a clothes chute is.
I don't know what that is.
It may have been Fernando.
Yeah. You have like a cupboard door upstairs and you can
Mm.
drop your clothes in and it goes down in the basement or wherever your laundry room is and so forth. But we had a guy stuck in there one night. We had to go there and pull him out or whatever. And actually,
Couldn't find that pair of socks, and
I don't know what I suppose probably got dared or, you know how kids are. Um,
so what are some of the realities of being a fireman versus what public perception?
oh, yeah, like you say, some of the movies you would see, obviously, jump around and leap from place to place in some of the bigger fires or whatever. Uh, it's we're there to help the public, and a lot of times you're not only a firefighter, but you're kind of like a social worker. There's especially in a community like ours, moderate size, you do a lot of different things. You're not just a fireman. You're on the rescue squad. We were trained in confined space, and high angle rescue. We did a lot of everything, which made it interesting too, and and made it exciting because you got to do a lot of different things compared to a bigger department. But
Now, how do you think being a fireman influenced your values as far as father, Dodge County supervisor? That have a big impact on you as far as the things you believe in?
well, yeah, how to answer that really? Uh,
Maybe I don't know. Maybe make you closer with your family, knowing. Well, I suppose when you see a lot of accidents, you realize, you know, things can change drastically in one day.
oh yeah, for sure. Like I say, a lot of times you leave in the morning, and some people don't come back home at night. Um, there's times when you're there on holidays or at home, and being a medium-sized department, we were on call on our days off a lot, and so if they got busy, you'd get called in and called back. Sometimes you'd go back for a half hour, 45 minutes, or a couple hours if it was a structure fire, to kind of depending the case. And I think of those times like on the holidays or Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, you're sitting on the couch with your family and your kids, and then your pager goes off, and do you leave your family sitting here, but yet there's a family in need out there that, it's hard to not go and help because you know that there's limited manpower and them guys are doing their job, and so you want to go help them in the situation and that family in need. But also in turn, in 2 days from now when I'm working and something happens, those guys that are off, I hope that they come and help us out too, as a brotherhood,
Mm-hmm.
and looking out for each other. Far as family, I mean, they were my family. I spend a lot of time there versus time home with your family. So,
I don't know if you ever knew, but when we lived in Peru, Nebraska, which is originally where I'm from, and my dad was the volunteer fire chief there for about 20 years.
huh.
And my uncle Rex was a state fire marshal, my dad's brother. And so he used to teach in Grand Island at the fire school. Guys would come back and say, "Hey, do you know Rex Allgood?" And I said, "Yeah, it's my uncle."
Oh yeah, I've met him a few times and used to
Yeah.
go out there over the years.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so when I was a kid, my dad would take us to the fire station and we'd have to help roll hose and then we'd have to wash trucks.
Oh
And I hated it.
yeah.
But we didn't do any fun things,
Yeah.
So
Well, that's all part of the job. It's interesting and exciting to go help people and fight the dragon, as we say. But then in the end, you got to go back and do some of the dirty work too and get ready for the next call.
if Fernando how in Mexico is they have a local fire department, they have a volunteer fire department. Do they have a fire department?
It's really different, the structure in Mexico to how it is here because I come from a small town in Mexico, probably about the size of North Bend, maybe a little bigger than that, and there is no volunteer fire department.
Hmm.
There's no volunteer anything actually. If there's a fire, you gotta get that bucket and start putting that thing out,
Huh.
but there is no training as far as, what to do in those situations like there usually is here. You guys probably sometimes go out to the schools and do a little presentation, right?
Right.
We didn't have any of that. The closest fire department was maybe 20, 30 minutes away at the closest city. So yeah, it's a lot different than it is here.
Somebody who's been in the, serving others their whole life, and maybe this is why, but what made you decide after you retired to run for county supervisor?
Oh yeah, on the same line. Like I said, I was interested in helping people and continuing to help people in the community. Uh, I guess it was just I knew a lot of people, and people kind of thought I'd be a good fit. I get every now and then they still tell me I should run for mayor, but I don't think I need that
Mayor
job.
Doug Backens, yeah.
Now, you said that you retired 6 years ago, but you're not actually retired. I mean, you just went from the fire department to political or community service, right?
Yeah. Yep. I'm on the county board of supervisors, which we meet every other week on Wednesday mornings. In between that, we're on several different committees.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm involved with like Three Rivers Health Department, Chamber of Commerce, the Merit Commission for the Sheriff's Office. So I help interview and deputies and promote deputies to sergeant positions. Security committee, IT committee. So yeah, there's a lot of other things that are involved other than just, some people say, oh, you just meet every other week, or whatever. But
And as far as the county supervisor goes, what do you guys do in that role? What is your day to day?
well, so like I say, several of us are on different committees. We oversee everything in the courthouse, all the different departments in the courthouse, and the sheriff's office, county roads. So we have like a roads committee that's made up of like three other guys that take care of that, or kind of spend more time on that. Everybody's kind of involved in the whole picture at the end of the day, but we have, like I say, different committees for different things. And there's oh, that pretty much covers it, I guess. The roads department, sheriff's office, and like I say, all the treasurer's office, clerk's office. So make sure all that's operating. There's all the department heads are kind of in charge of all that and their employees, but yet we kind of oversee the daily, not necessarily the daily functions, but the staffing and some of the the HR part of it.
So what kind of challenges do you have in a county supervisor role and the issues that maybe you guys face?
Oh, there's the continuance of your taxes are the biggest questions and concerns. People
Oh, I'm sure you get a lot
always
of complaints.
always asking about that, and unfortunately that's how things go. Um, we try to maintain them and operate within our budget, and keep things going, but it costs money. Basically it costs money to make money. You have to have the resources there to take care of your county roads and your bridges, and same with the sheriff's office and deputies and so on and so forth.
So now when you guys say you have bridges that need repair, replaced, which I'm sure, it's not just one that constantly needs updates
Right.
or repair. How do you decide, which ones are you're going to be doing first, or maybe this one will wait?
So Scott, he's our road superintendent, and he has like a 1 in 6 year plan that we go through different roads and bridges. And actually, all those bridges, they have to get checked and inspected yearly. So it kind of depends on the age of them and what shape there are and so forth. And then they kind of categorizes it and puts it on a plan to get things taken care of. Or some of these bridges we're actually changing out and going to what they call like a box culvert. That's all concrete now. So then it's a longer term uh, solution, and then it alleviates some of the inspection too and stuff, because obviously how things change, everything gets more complex on
Mm-hmm.
all the different standards, not only at the state level, the federal level. There's a lot of things you gotta go by.
So do you get any state funding, or is this just all county?
There is some funds. Yep. There's the bridge bridge fund that they applied to, which they've kind of cutting back on that too at the state and federal level compared to what it used to be. You know, obviously with everybody's budget restraints, everything's getting tighter and tighter for all organizations. So then we just have to, you know, make a plan. Like I say, it gives you that 5 to 6 year plan to put it in your budget and
Here's what we have. Here's what we
specialize.
can
Yep.
afford to do.
Yep.
Are there grants available that
There's grants out there. You can apply for that. You know, and then you can do your overlaying projects with the blacktop.
have you ever written a grant?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I took a class when I was working on my master's degree, and my brother-in-law and I took it together, and we were telling the school superintendent and principal how we were taking this class that, you know, maybe we'd be able to help with some grant stuff. And then after taking that class, I decided I don't ever want to do that again. It's so much research and gathering data that it's really, I mean, that's the worst part. You know, writing the grant wasn't really that bad. But when you have to research, you have to have data to support why you need the grant,
Right.
why you'd be a good fit, and it's a tremendous amount of work. And so people who do that,
Yeah, more power to them.
yeah, great for them. But that wasn't me. Do you think that your experience as a fireman helped you in the county supervisor role?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, dealing with people on a daily basis and communications. You know, at the fire department too, you have all different. I don't want to say walks of life, but all different attitudes and mentalities, I guess, or whatever. But you know,
everybody comes from a different background.
yeah, everybody's different, which is great. That's what makes the world go around, right?
Absolutely.
And but yeah, just the, you know, being able to, like I say, communicate with people and get out there and help people. It was great. It was a great experience. You know, I don't miss it per se, but you know, I miss a lot of the people or the coworkers and so forth. And unfortunately, they're as busy as they are nowadays. You know, the sirens go all the time in this town, um, but they continue to, you know, provide a good service and do their jobs. So
now I see a lot. You know, Fernando, where we're at, we see a lot of. We must be on a route for the trucks because we'll see them out a lot. You know, you'll hear the fire engines, and we'll see them go by. Do you think the majority are health related calls, or
yeah, there's a lot of EMS calls.
do they send a truck with every one of those?
Most of the time, yep. And then there's 3 guys on the engine now, I believe, and 2 on the rescue squad. And then depends on the circumstances or if they need the extra staffing, that guy off that truck will, you know, jump on the rescue squad to go to the hospital. And it if not, then he's on that truck, and they get a lot of double runs. You know, we used to get a lot of double calls. It seemed like you go on one and it wasn't long, and you'd have another one. And back when I was there, that would initiate the like the callback, like I said, because a lot of times back in the day for several years, there's only 9 guys on a shift or 9 person shift, 7 minimum, and now they've increased the staffing to a couple more per shift, just with the call volume. Because I mean, if you look at the numbers or pay attention to any of that, it's just astronomical. I think they were over 4,000 calls last year. So,
Do you ever want to be a fireman?
You know, I thought about it. I really did. Before I joined the military, my options were firefighter, but at the time when I looked up how to join the fire department in Council Bluffs, I had to call and make the appointment. I had lost my voice because I got sick, so I had lost my voice. So I couldn't really call and make that appointment. So I decided to go to the military instead. It was a little quick change.
how long were you in the military?
6 years.
Where was I know at one point, where'd you say you were in Kosovo?
Yeah, Kosovo, the country of Kosovo. It's north of Greece. Beautiful country, great people, super nice people. But I wasn't there too long.
So when you were a fireman, did you guys cook, or did you have a cook, or did you take turns cooking? Because I know if I'm a fireman, nobody's going to want to eat what I'm making.
Yeah, we on my shift we had what we called the Eaters Club. So yeah, we took turns at eating at nighttime. We'd have our dinner meals, and we'd just take turns cooking.
What was the Doug Backens
you
specialty?
put so much money in the kitty every night, and try to keep it within the means or whatever. And then I like to make meatloaf. Spaghetti and meat sauce obviously is an easy one.
That a lot of guys fall back on the spaghetti.
A lot of little variety. Oh yeah, you never know. And like I say, we had our kitty, and then every now and then you build up your kitty, and then maybe you could buy some steaks and grill out or whatever. So,
Did you ever have that guy you were going, God, I hope he's cooking tonight?
a couple of them, and then there's a couple of them that you wish that never were cooking or whatever. The guy didn't like to cook too much, and he actually brought in like lasagna from an outdoor source or whatever, and I was giving him a bad time about it or whatever. But actually, it was pretty decent lasagna.
So my two roommates, we'd alternate cooking, and one guy, whenever he had to cook, it was tater tot casserole, which I like, but when you have it every third night, it gets
Yeah.
What would you say is your biggest goal for the county that you hope to get done while you're a county supervisor? I mean, do you have that one goal that you think's really important that'll move Dodge County ahead?
Not right off the top of my head. We've had a couple strides of some things that we've gotten done, like in the last 8 years or whatever. When I first got on there, and like Bob Bendig, there was the courthouse. It kind of surprised me that all the different offices had like several different of their own IT departments. Not one individual company or service or whatever. So we've been working on that and streamlining that. He was our chairman on that committee and did a lot of work on it. But that kind of surprised me. So each department head was kind of in charge of their own deal. So I think that would be, and it has become better for the operation of the courthouse and for the taxpayers. That obviously we're saving money and streamlining it, and the protection. With the all the technology and the firewalls and some of that, which is way over my head. I was on the committee, but don't get me in. I'm not a computer guy, so
That would be that guy.
yeah, Fernando, he can get her done.
That's not this guy.
But I think just continue to be there to support the people of Dodge County, and like I say, our county roads is a big a big part of that being in the county. We got over 300 bridges when you were talking about bridges and so forth, I think, out there, and a lot of county roads, and it's a farming community. So, not only in that department, I mean, I'm looking out, or I help to help all the departments, they all have their things that they do and take care of. So there's just a lot of great employees and people. I deal a lot too, like I said, with the sheriff's office, and I kind of stay involved with that, being on the merit commission and hiring, but also being in the fire service for 40 years, you kind of had a tight bond with the police and fire over the years too.
Oh, I'm sure you work hand in hand together.
Yeah,
with those
for
people.
sure.
So, what would you say the most intense call you were ever on?
Oh,
Were you still a fireman when they had the flood in 19?
Yeah, I left. I retired in June right after the flood. Yeah, that was pretty intense. Like I said, especially when we weren't on duty that day. Matter of fact, Pat Tawney and I were at the fire station that night when the guys were out in the boats, and the boats were trying to rescue those people, and
Rick Shute was on the boat.
They were capsizing. Yep.
Rick's a North Bend Central kid.
Yep. Nick Morris and Rich Osterloh, and so that was pretty intense. And you're sitting at the station wanting to help, but yet we had our part. We were running, taking care of the rest of the city and organizing things throughout. Matter of fact, I got in a pickup and drove down to the Union Pacific trying to find somebody at the train depot to see if they had a truck that they could go out there on the rails, with some lights or whatever, just trying to think of different options or whatever. Because,
Sure.
When you're just sitting there listening to the radio of what's going on there, and you're feeling helpless. So that was pretty intense.
What was the plant that exploded up? Was that last year that happened?
Yeah, the biosolids.
Yeah. Something like that comes in as a fireman. Is that just everybody, or do people stay in the back at the station?
No, everybody goes initially, or whatever,
and you take calls from there.
And then you have, like, say, you have your callback policy, and move up plan that we implemented over the years. Jamie Meyer was my captain for a lot of years, and that's where we brought in like Arlington for a rescue squad and Fremont Rural for engine and stuff, and then you just keep bringing their outlying departments in to to rely on them for some help or whatever, and you don't ever hope for, but someday you're probably going to go back out in them communities and help too. So you got to work hand in hand. It's especially, like I said, it's not that we're a small community, but yet when the shit's hitting the fan, you need your help, and you need your help, right away or whatever. So
Gary Gurman, was Gary a
yeah,
captain when you were there?
he was actually my fire chief. He got promoted to chief.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
And that's what I was intending to say.
yeah,
Was
but he
chief.
came up through the ranks. Yeah, he was a firefighter and came up through the ranks, lieutenant, and
You know Gary, right? Drives for us.
Yeah.
yeah.
Drives and I think he started after he retired. He's been here. How long ago did Gary
He's
retire?
been gone for a while. Yeah,
Yeah, good guy.
yeah, he is. Yep.
Yeah.
He left after he retired. Then I think he worked for the state fire marshal's office for a few years or whatever.
And then Todd Burnt was the next chief.
Yeah, and Todd Burns been the chief after him.
Now we have a new station that's going to go up, correct?
Yeah, they're putting together a plan. I believe it's out on Johnson Road and Military Avenue.
And how many firemen will that house?
Oh, I'm not sure. I'm guessing maybe four. So you have like two on the engine, two on the truck. It just depends on hopefully what they increase their staffing numbers to. I'm sure they'll have to add more staffing than what they got now to.
Now when they do that, will all the rescue services still go out of the current station, or will they have that also at the other?
They'll have that out there too, I'm sure, and they'll probably split up the town a little bit. Depending on the call volume, or I'm not sure how
You're
they'll.
responsible for this area. You're
Yeah,
responsible for.
it's all city stuff. So as a county supervisor, I don't get
You
involved
don't
in
have
that
any.
part of it or whatever. But
Now, are you involved with the rural station then?
not very much. I go to the mutual aid association meetings. All the Dodge County departments, they get together and meet every other month, and so I kind of been involved and go to those, to be there for a contact person and help them out, just like I say, because I still have the interest in the fire service and so forth. A couple of years ago, we put the big 800 megahertz radio system together. It's like a $10 million project, and that's all the departments in Dodge County and so forth. So, and that was all pretty much county money and so forth.
So Fremont is growing. So as a county supervisor, see problems happening around town, people coming into Fremont more and more every year.
If it's a problem so much, I mean, you just have to be aware and be alert, and if we want to have and have over the years, to progress and do different things, you have to be open minded. That's what we always talked about at the fire department. I mean, it's not just about the fire department. If their town grows, you got everything that goes along with it. You got street department, police department, water department, everything goes along with it. If you want to thrive, and yeah, there's schools. I mean, if you want to thrive and you want to get bigger and do great things for the citizens, unfortunately, it's going to cost you money, and unfortunately, everything is, out of line on the payment part of it. But you have to all work together, and I think it's a good community. I don't think we really have a lot of problems. You're going to have your daily stuff no matter where you're at. No matter what business you're in. Um, and like you said, I didn't really retire. I got rental property and a lawn service and some other stuff, but uh, there's a lot of great things going on out there. And
Fremont is ready for that boom.
oh, I think so. It's interesting when I got on the county board that how many of these organizations do so many things around town that people don't understand or know that they do until you get out and get involved in it, or see some of these things or go to some of them coffees and so forth. There's a lot of nonprofit organizations that do so much in this community, but yet they all work together with all the other nonprofits and the different groups. That I think is it's really it's amazing to see. I don't know if you've seen that Ben Sass video. He made a couple comments on there, and it really hits home and whatever. And it's like, you know what, Fremont is a great community, and like you say, a lot of them people, we just all work together and get things done when things need to be done. So
I think Ben was a good addition at Midland, and he changed a lot of things there that are still in place.
yeah,
But yeah, sad situation for
for
him.
sure.
So, coffee or energy drink?
Oh, coffee. I have a few coffees um, every morning, or not necessarily every morning, but a few. I give up the energy drinks. I used to drink coffee and energy drinks and a Pepsi. And then a couple years ago, when everything was kind of shaking and rattling and rolling, I went to the cardiologist, and they said to stay away from them
Oh man,
energy drinks. And
don't tell me that.
so I went through a couple different tests, and in like 11 minutes on the treadmill, and passed everything, and which was a good thing, you know, because you wondered what might be going on or whatever. But they pretty much said it was just that caffeine, and easy on the caffeine.
So we know Fireman Doug, we know County Supervisor Doug. Tell us about Grandpa Doug.
Oh, well, yeah, my daughter, Riley, she's married to Charlie, and then they have three kids. They're 10, 7, and 4. And we've been fortunate. They're close. They're actually right around the corner from us here in town. Um, so some days they can holler out their back door at me when I'm sitting on my patio, which is it's pretty great. My wife watches them, fortunately, a couple days a week too. So it's blessed to have them close like that. Some people, you know, they don't get to see their grandkids, and unique experience, I guess.
So are you soft grandpa or are you disciplined grandpa?
Oh, I'm
Combination.
probably pretty soft or whatever. Like I said, the oldest two are boys and the littlest one's a girl. So um, she probably beats me up a little bit.
Have you changed in attitude from when you were just a dad to now being a grandpa?
Oh yeah, things are different too. Like I say, back when my kids were growing up, I was at the fire station,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and so you're there every third day. So my wife did a lot raising my kids and taking care of my kids, you know, and that part of it's different, you know.
God bless them.
Yeah.
You know, and I was coaching my wife, you know, I missed some things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And my wife was great at that and she understood, you know, but kids don't always understand, you know. They want to, they like looking up and seeing you. And, but, you know, I think my girls kind of knew dad's a coach and an AD. He's got to be at these things, you know, but it also was good because sometimes I was at those things and they were involved, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, whenever you have, so how did that rotation work? You worked every 3 days?
Every third day, yeah, 24 hours on and 48 hours off.
Uh-huh.
So every third day, so it just kept going.
Now, did Fremont have Kelly weeks?
We had like an hour reduction. We got one day in between, like in a 28-day cycle. It's complicated to figure out, so don't try to figure it out. Even
Well,
half the guys that worked there didn't have to figure it out. We had to help the officers had to help them.
I know one of my brothers was a fireman in Lincoln, and then one of my assistant coaches in Grand Island was a captain at Station 2.
Oh yeah.
And they both had Kelly weeks. And I never really understood that. I didn't get how that worked.
Yeah, there's different cycles or whatever. Like Lincoln has a different one, and Omaha has a different one. Like where they work every other day for like 10 days and they get 6 in a row off or whatever. So ours just kept going every third day. So, but then if you took a day off, then you got like 5 in a row. So that was, you know, a good thing you could use your vacation time like in the hours, or use them up as the hours, you know, like 12 hours or 24 hours. Biggest thing was there always had to be, like, say, at least 7 individuals there, you know, for the minimum staffing.
Yeah.
That's very hard to always be available on call. You know, you were mentioning that during holidays and everything, it gets hard because you don't know if you know you're gonna get called. You said there was how many calls in a year?
Wow, last year they had over 4,000.
4,000 calls.
Yeah.
Now, is Fremont? Is there a lot of firefighters in Fremont, or are you guys like kind of low on manpower?
Um, they're staying pretty full right now. Like I said, they increased their staffing to 11 per shift. And then there's always some coming and going for, whatever reasons, bigger departments, different departments. There's a few that, have been here and it didn't work out or it wasn't what they thought and got into different careers too, or whatever. But you're always going to have that, I don't know, kind of cycling door or
Yeah.
whatever. It's been that way, unfortunately. Even the sheriff's department, police department, and fire department in the 40 years that I've been involved in it or whatever. But that's starting to get a little bit, better or whatever. We've had a few numbers, a few better numbers on the testing at the sheriff's office lately. But
So how is Fremont involved in a union?
yeah,
So the union negotiates their pay, or
yeah, they got union officers, and then they.
Now, does that go by size of communities, or?
Yeah, they had their comparables. It used to be like Norfolk and Columbus, Beatrice. And don't quote me, I'm not sure which ones they compare with now because it has to do with like the population. Back in early years when I was on, it was like Grand Island was, but then I think after Grand Island got over like 50,000 in their population,
Yeah.
and Fremont was only like 24, under 25. It was like twice as much the population or whatever
How's Fremont rank for pay? Are they pretty good?
Oh, I think they've kind of upped it a little bit here a while back to try to help, keep some of those individuals here or whatever. But there's, it's a hard revolving cycle because say Fremont will negotiate, and then the next year Norfolk does. So your numbers are always never really 100% the same, and change, yearly. But they always had tried to keep us, pretty much, in the median, and it's not all sometimes about the money too. It's your working conditions, your equipment,
where you live,
and different things like that. I know one thing that I found interesting several years ago, they put out the list of, like I say, all the benefits and all the other things that go along with it. That when you're a young guy, you don't kind of pay attention to that. Everybody wants another dollar or whatever. But the older you get and down the road, then you start looking at the retirement and the health insurance, or if you have options for health insurance when you retire or whatever. So there's a lot of other things to consider it and think about it when you're in one of those positions.
So how long is your term as county supervisor?
4 years.
And how many years in are you now?
This is my 8th year. I'm actually up for election. So
you obviously got elected again after the first stint, if it's every 4 years.
Yep.
So some people must like you.
Apparently, yeah. So,
Are you going for a third term?
you know what I tell everybody? I'm a nice guy. Just ask me, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Are you going for that third one?
Yeah. And actually, nobody's running against me this time, so
even better.
Hey, congratulations!
Well,
Congratulations!
May 12th. Vote for me on May 12th, but hopefully, there's not too many write-ins or something, right?
I was going to ask you if you thought being a fireman in the community helped with that. As far as getting elected, that people knew who you were, they appreciated what you did. You felt like that played a big role in that?
Oh, I think so. Like say, I know a lot of people and known a lot of people, like I say, being here all my life, or whatever. But not only that, and being on the rescue squad, yeah, exactly. You're out, and a lot of people recognize you, remember you, or whatever. And then when they see your face on the door hangers, or when you come knocking around, I went around initially the first time and knocked on a lot of doors and talking to people, because that's what it's all about, is getting out and meeting the people and talking to them and seeing what their concerns are and so forth. So
now, you mentioned that people have asked you if you're going to be mayor. What are your thoughts? Are you going to run for it?
No. There's we've had a lot of great mayors. There's a lot of good people doing the work in the city, and I got enough going on right now with like say all my other little businesses and the county supervisor stuff, and I enjoy the county supervisor. Got a great group of guys there, and we all work well together, and so no big plans on anything like that right now.
Well, you seem to be busy. We see it at every chamber thing most of the time, unless you're
I try to hit some of those or whatever. Yeah. That's what people tell me too. They said, well, you must, they always see me with a cup of coffee in my hand or something.
Well, if we're at the business after hours, I don't know if it's always coffee.
Well, sometimes it's on the other end of it, but you got to do that every now and then.
Yeah, we call that Coca-Colas.
Coca-Colas. So,
Well, thanks for what you do, Doug. Thanks for what you've always done as a firefighter and now serving our county as a supervisor. I know you know the one thing about those kind of things, and I've always told people who volunteer to serve the community, they just don't hear thanks enough. You know, that most of the time it's the other that you hear. You know, as a coach, I understand that feeling. But we want you to know how much we appreciate you. We thank you for what you did. As a former classmate, I'm proud of what you've done. I think you've done a lot of good things in your life. Hopefully, you continue to do all those good things for a while. And we wish you the very best. We appreciate you being here today.
Thank you so much for coming, Doug. One last question. You're running around everywhere doing all these boards. And are you ready for retirement or no?
oh, I mean, yeah, really, what is retirement? You know, that's what a lot of people say. Uh, I'm trying to slow down a little bit on some of the yard stuff, you know, and some of the other little things that I do. My two boys do most of the lawn mowing and different things, and my wife helps them one day a week. But I do like kind of all the odds and ends and the HR stuff, the PR stuff, and the finance stuff, I guess you might say. But I like to stay busy. But also there's a time come that you need to get out and enjoy stuff. I got a motorcycle. I like to ride my motorcycle yet, and like I say, the grandkids and even the kids, we got we spend some time on the river and do different things, and you got to get out and do that too because life's too short. I always say we play hard, we work hard, but we play hard. So
That's right.
I don't think I'll ever retire. If that's the answer you want, I'll probably never retire. I'll always have
You hear that, District 7? You're good.
little something going on, or like say my rental properties and so forth.
Did you notice that our chamber board of directors meetings, they don't ever let us sit by each other?
Yeah,
I think
You guys would talk too much.
I think they know how ornery Doug is and that it would stray off.
I think they know both of you
yeah.
and know how bad of an idea that is.
Well, again, thanks, Doug. We appreciate your time. We wish you the very best, and just keep at it.
Well, thank you. Thanks, guys, for having me, and we appreciate seeing you guys out there. I know a lot of people see you out and about, and it's good to be. It's better to be seen.
Yeah, Doug, we will see you in the next coffee.
And we'll see you on the next pit stop with the Deersford Lincoln Auto Amigos.